Good day, everyone. So I want to talk a bit about my AyayaTO disappointment and why a lot of it actually stemmed from the changes during the beta. And the character that he is now, or that he will be when released in 1 or 2 days, is not really the character that I really wanted. So hence I'll skip him. But before we get into a discussion, just a kind reminder that the background footage is literally there for your entertainment. So please, no damage comparisons, don't call me anti-poor or any other such nasty things, because I literally don't care. It's just me messing around. Literally, there's no optimal gameplay here. If you want it, go to the Golden House. They've got lots of speedrunning and cool stuff. So, let's get into AyayaTO. Originally, this is how AyayaTO worked. During his elemental burst, he would grant all nearby party members attack speed, and I think this sort of scaled with his elemental burst talent level as well, obviously up to talent level 10, and that is pretty awesome. So once you press his elemental burst skill, if you had a Kokomi or a Yoimiya, this would greatly benefit you, because what does attack speed do? Well, in the case of Kokomi, it allows you to heal more, which means you can trigger your Ocean Hued Clam set quota a lot better. So it's not only the fact that you're dealing more damage, you're also dealing more damage via your artifact set. You are more survivable by healing more, your entire team is more survivable, and you can apply Hydro just a bit faster because the internal cooldown of free hits is just sort of like shortened by a little bit. Of course, the more and more attack speed you stack, and this is something we've done in one of my previous videos, the better you can sort of or the more benefit you get out of it. So we did I think an 80 or 90% attack speed Kokomi in that one event. It was absolutely crazy, but it does show you like how seriously she scales with attack speed, and very similarly, a character like Yoimiya definitely benefits from it. So what's the big change that they made to AyayaTO? Well, they essentially moved this attack speed to Constellation 4, which is pretty bad because now I have to get 5 copies of AyayaTO, and assuming I lost about 250/50s, again this is pretty optimistic, that would be, let's say, at an average of about 70 wishes, that would be 490, which roughly translates to about, I don't know, $1,000. So do I want to pay $1,000, potentially even more, for a tiny attack speed increase that's tied to a character's elemental burst? Not really. It's going to be one Kokomi video. It's literally going to give me $1 or $2 in ad revenue, and that'll leave me with a net loss of, yeah. You can see it's not really worth it. And you might say, well, look, the current version of AyayaTO that's going to come out, he'll give you like normal attack increase, or normal attack damage. And that is fine, but I don't think if you're a Kokomi main, especially an F2P Kokomi, you won't really benefit from it that much in comparison to just like using, there she is on screen, Yunjin, which would be a lot better. So yeah, that change to AyayaTO, it's a very big one. It means there's a lot less content for me to make on Kokomi, and I'm definitely not going to spend the money. So that's my first big grievance with him. The second thing is they sort of changed the mechanic on how his E worked. Now, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong as well in the chat or in the comments, originally he had a 20-second cooldown on his E, and basically it lasted for 15 seconds. The entire gimmick behind it was he would be on field for about like 15 seconds, and then you could swap off to other characters, and if your other characters did normal attack damage, then they would essentially help reduce the elemental skill cooldown on AyayaTO, which is pretty awesome. So basically you do a bunch of things with your team, you expend a couple of cooldowns, you swap to AyayaTO, and what AyayaTO does is he attacks the enemies, and then you've got complete control over the timing of this. You swap off, and essentially if you did like normal attacks and so on, you could decrease the cooldown. This is pretty awesome. Basically you had to be clever about the way in which you used AyayaTO. It's not like using Bennett and Xiongling and having this retarded gameplay style of just getting free value by snapshotting. It is such an unhealthy mechanic for the game, but having a mechanic that actually makes you think and use your brain properly, that is cool. That's what I loved about the character, something new and fresh. And they also changed it, so he's basically now just press a button, he does his thing for 6 seconds, and then he swaps off, and it's got a fixed cooldown of 12 seconds. It is pretty stupid. Of course, the entire theory crafting community and everyone in the Genshin community will love this change. It's a watered down change, pardon the pun. It's going to be better for all sorts of things, and people will tell you theoretically, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it reduces the skill ceiling of the game, the skill expression that you've got, and it just makes the character feel meh, in my opinion. Um, Whether I was part of the beta or not, I cannot actually tell you, so I can't confirm or deny that, but I can definitely tell you that I'm pretty disappointed with how AyaTO has turned out. He's not the character that I thought he would be. And on that sad note, yeah, that is why I'm going to skip him. But good news, Yellen is coming, so we're definitely going to pick her up and most likely see 6 her. Cheers.